Every day around the world, rural men, women and children wake to the seasonal rains or to the dry season, to flowing rivers or dried up riverbeds, to the morning dew on their plots, or to cracking earth beneath their feet. They wake to an ever-changing environment where fresh water is vital to their livelihoods and to their lives. The young and the elderly heat water to prepare the day's food. In irrigated areas, men, and in some cases women, check their fields. Women and children begin the trek to fetch fresh water for the household's diverse productive and domestic needs. Freshwater's many and competing uses make it both a social and an economic good. But within communities, and indeed within households, who benefits from this good? And how? Who makes the decisions about how water will be used? And by whom? Answering these questions is key to understanding the ways in which people and water interact. And understanding this interaction is important for informing agricultural policy and planning to enhance agricultural productivity, household food security and livelihoods. We can safely assume that rural communities are not all the same. Neither are their freshwater needs and interests. Rural households are also not all the same. Some are richer, others poorer. Some are headed by men, others by women. With the AIDS pandemic, more households are headed by the very old and by the very young. Different households are likely to have different needs and priorities for freshwater use. A project or technology that's designed for a community will not necessarily meet the needs of all those who live there. If we look within the household, we also see individuals with different and often divergent freshwater needs and interests. Some individuals have livestock to tend or crops to irrigate. Others have home gardens that support the family's nutritional needs. Some of these same people may also need freshwater to support activities that can provide income, to purchase other goods and services for the household. For various reasons, women's freshwater interests have often been perceived to be those primarily linked to family health. On the other hand, men's freshwater interests have been perceived to be those linked more to income generation. Yet women also contribute economically to a household's livelihood. They too have economic interests and accompanying freshwater needs. In part, because of their socially defined roles and relationships, people within households often have different abilities to influence decisions about the use of freshwater resources. Older men holding title to land may have different rights and access to fresh water than young men or women. Yet women and men, old and young, need access to fresh water for their various productive and domestic activities. So we come back to the challenge of understanding the interaction between different people and freshwater resources. How can decision makers and planners promote the sustainable and equitable use of freshwater in ways that address the diverse interests in rural communities? Through its experience, FAO has found that one way forward is to build the capacity of water resource managers and decision makers to better assess and consider the different freshwater needs and constraints within rural households. Promoting planning approaches that bring people together to identify and discuss their freshwater needs and constraints is another. But these alone are not enough. They must be supported by government policy initiatives that recognize and address people's diverse freshwater interests. Together, these actions can help support a process whereby communities, households and individuals can reconcile differences and find solutions to meet the social and economic freshwater needs of all, effectively, sustainably and equitably.